Well, hello racing fans and welcome to our Gallop TV preview show. It's for Monday the 21st of April. It's Easter Monday, and on behalf of the team at Gallop TV, to you, the valued racing fan, all the best. Blessed Easter to yourself and your family, racing fans, and hopefully you're having a wonderful holiday over this long weekend, and maybe you can end it off with a bang on this Monday the 21st at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Graham Hawkins on the line, and we'll just have a look at the times that you need to get on the tote. 11:50 race number 1, that's 10 to 1, and we should close things off at 1700 hours race number 10. Busy day, lots to talk about with Graham Hawkins. Yeah, Graham, I think firstly, as I've wished all the viewers, to yourself and your family, Babette and everybody, all the best over Easter, and happy Easter Monday.
Thank you so much, Dees. Yeah, it's always a nice time of the year, family time, and those who celebrate Easter, all the best to them. By the time, of course, this race meeting gets underway, Easter weekend will be just about done and dusted. But as you've said, maybe we can end off the weekend with a bang. The weather looks perfect. The track should run a little quicker. And perhaps the track buyers down the straight will begin to even out now before the next winter rains arrive. And the first race, as you've mentioned, gets off at 11:50.
Okay, straight into race number 1. Graham doesn't form part of the exotics. It's a juvenile plate over 1,000 meters. And as always, we'll give you some betting as a guide at the time of recording the show. Number 1, Northern Point at 12 to 10. 2, Amen Corner is at 7 to 2. 5, Orbit at 28 to 10. 6 is a scratch. 7, Island Forever at 28 to 10. Graham, I'm sure you would have watched the US Masters as well, and Amen Corner, we know, holds 11, 12, and 13, if I'm not mistaken, at Augusta, and things could have gone horribly wrong for Rory on that last day, but he managed to survive and get into a playoff, and the rest is history. Amen Corner, could this be your top choice, unbeaten and winning on debut, winning very well?
I think she's taking on a lot stronger here, Dees. Look, it's still too early in the careers of these 2-year-olds to make definitive assessments of their true class and ability. But I was very impressed by North Point's last win, and also by his presence and physical appearance. And Dees, you were at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth that day. What did you think? I really think North Point is going to take a lot of beating.
Yeah, just looking at the way the stable have brought him along, Graham, the way he's come on with runs, his last start was impressive. And the sex allowance is in the favor of number 2, Amen Corner, but I agree. I think the right horse, the fixed odds betting market has got it right at around 12 to 10, and the pace and speed that he showed over 1,000 meters last time out, I think should have brought him on as well. So I'm in agreement with the betting market, Graham. But, as we always mention on all shows or throughout the country, when it comes to these young horses, it's difficult to say on the improvement to come when they start maturing and getting racing under the belt. So, and I don't know how much more to come from the filly.
Yeah, look, she did nothing wrong on debut. As I say, I think she's taking on stronger here. This will be a good guide as to what her future looks like. Talking about improvement, number 5, Orbit, also won well on debut, beating the useful Claire de Lune before fluffing his lines in his next start. But he reappears here as a gelding for the first time. He was gelded on the 20th of January. Richard Faree takes the ride. The Greg Enion stable has been going through a frustrating spell, but it has to come to an end sometime. And Orbit is clearly above the average. Number 7, Island Forever, also won on debut before fluffing its lines in the nursery, but there's surely better than that. So Island Forever, you can't draw lines through that. As I said, it's still too early in the careers of these 2-year-olds to make definitive assessments. But based on what I saw on the 16th of March, I do think that North Point is well above the average, is an impressive looking grey son of William Longsword, and I think he looks set to follow up. For me, one of the better bets on the card.
Just quickly, Graham, I know it's just race number 1. Island Forever does bring him that direct hit form line. A direct hit is turning out to be a very classy individual.
sensational. Direct Hit was a sensational winner again in Port Elizabeth on Friday. But of course, she also won the nursery in Cape Town. What a season Alan Greff is having with his 2-year-olds, having won the Cape Nursery, the Eastern Cape Nursery, and the Highveld Nursery. So he's winning nurseries all over the country with his 2-year-olds. And Direct Hit right now, possibly the best 2-year-old in the country.
I was hoping you're saying right now on a float to KZN. Anyway, race number 2 at 12:20, Barport time over 1,400 meters, and you need to get on by 12:20. This is how it looks, Graham. Number 2, Randolph Hurst at 7-2. Number 4, New World at 7-2. Number 6, Suppose You've Heard at 33-10. And then Bitter Man, Vaughan Marshall's runner at 15-10. Graham, I found this difficult to try and make an outright top choice here because as the market has it tight, but Better Man, on what we saw last time out over 1,400 meters at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, I think, from that course to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Monday could suit him much better.
Yeah, look, Dees, it's a very trappy race. On form, on that form behind Pay the Palace, you can throw a blanket over numbers 4, New World, 6, Suppose You've Heard, and 8, Better Man. And also believe there is a lot more to come from number 2, Randolph Hurst. Now, when you look at that run behind Pay the Palace, if you watch the replay, the very unlucky horse in the race was number 4, New World. He was coming through with a menacing challenge on the rail. The gap closed. He had to ease and switch out. Rallied late. So he was only, a head behind Better Man. So there's a strong argument to be made that with a bit more luck, number 4, New World, could turn that form around. And I think Better Man, although he is my top choice, I am in the camp of number 8, Better Man, because I get the sense that there's a lot more improvement to come from the Son of One World. But the betting is a bit skewed. When you look at the form of that last run, Better Man looks a little bit skinny at 15-10, and number 4, New World, looks a little overpriced at 4-1, and of course sandwiched in between them is Suppose You've Heard, who was only a head away 4th. So there was literally 2 heads separating New World, Suppose You've Heard, and Better Man in their last run, and New World didn't enjoy much luck. 2, Randolph Hurst, promising debut over 12.50. That was at Durbanville. He got a bit lost in the early races. He was nearly 9 lengths behind. Turning for home. I think over this easier 1,400 meters on the Hollywoodbets Kenilworth track, I think we can expect a lot of improvement from the beautifully bred son of Give Me the Green Light, number 2, Randolph Hurst. This is the first leg of the iPod. I've gone with Jackpot 1 as my bet of choice for this meeting, but I think I know it's only a small field of 9 runners, but I think you've got to include at least 3 of those 4. I'm not sure that you don't want to put in 2 horses and find that the other 2 arrive and you slip out of the bipot. So it's a trappy start to the bipot. I do think Better Man could be the one to beat, but I think he's a little skinny in the market when compared with New World and Suppose You've Heard.
That could be good advice there, because I was seriously leaning towards 8 as a bipot banker, but we'll hear what Graham is saying, because this could be a result. They're tight in the betting market. Better Man misses out, you are dropping tickets. So let's see how it goes, leg 1 of that bipot. Place accumulator, race number 3 at 12.55. At the top of this preview, Graham, I'm going to state that I don't think it's going to take anything special of these first-timers to possibly win this. Number 1, Ukuduma at 7-2. 2, Ruby Rex at 28-10. Number 2 is Lowfelt Lily. Number 3, that is Lowfelt Lily at 5-2. And we then have a 5-1 shot in number 6, Duchess of Paloma, and number 7, Winter Gamble at 4-1. Graham, and I looked at the front of the computer form, which is a form guide I'm using, and they do their best to try and get comments with first-timers, horses coming off a rest. In this race, barring number 3, where Justin Snate says nice type money chance, there's no confidence with any of the other first-timers. But I'd say, of the race runners, how confident can we be?
Yeah, not too much form to work with, and there's every chance a newcomer will win the opening leg at the Place Accumulator. Yeah, Ukuduma comes in with a 5-star pedigree, but as you've mentioned, the comments are not that encouraging. But it is encouraging that Gavin Larena takes a ride for Vaughan Marshall, and they're drawn on the paint on the far side of the Hollywoodbets straight course. The Hollywoodbets Kenilworth straight course. There seems to be a bit of a whisper around for number 3, Lowveld Lily. Richard Ferree rides first up for the Justin Snaith stable. So those are the 2 first-timers that make most appeal. But then you've got the 3 race runners with a little bit of form. Ruby Rex ran 3rd on debut behind Rahaba, but there've been no direct winners out of that form line. She then fluffed her lines at Hollywoodbets Durbanville when getting lost in the early stages of the race from a wide draw. So I'm prepared to forgive number 2, Ruby Rex, that run and judge her rather on a debut effort, which brings her into the race of this caliber with a bright chance. Duchess of Paloma has been struggling. She's managed 4 fourth placings from 8 starts, including her last 2 starts. But based on that Rahaba form line, and given that that was Ruby Rex's first run, I would safely assume that Ruby Rex has got the measure of number 6, the Duchess of Paloma. Winter Gamble cannot be ignored. As you say, this race is not going to take a lot of winning. It's a maiden plate for fillies and mares over 1,100 metres. It's not the deepest maiden plate we'll ever see. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a first-timer win it. And again, I think you've got to hedge your bets. If you're playing the Place Accumulator, wait as long as possible before finalising the first leg. Watch them go down to the start. See what the market is telling you, because Lowveld Lily could well be the key horse in the race.
Well, if you don't have this, I'll give it to you. Number 1, Ukuduma, a 2.6 million rand purchase. And Mr. Gujada Grant Knowles, our very own part of that, John Costa. And the reason I mentioned this, it was really nice to see Mr. Cheryl Lance leading some winners with Brett and James Crawford over the last few meetings in the Western Cape. So that's 2.6 million, number 1, Ukuduma, if you want to get influenced by, as Graham said, pedigree and price. Race number 4, pick 6 time, 1,400 meters. It's a maiden plate for fillies and mares. Number 1, Champagne Blaze at 9-2. We then have number 5, Take It As Red. That's at 7-2. Number 7 is Hungatunga at 33-10. And what do we have then? Yep, we got 33-10. Number 11, Ocotillo. And it's 4-1 about number 12, Miss William. Pick 6 time, Graham. It's the big one. We'll kick off at 13:30. Yeah, it's clear to see that between numbers, let's call them 7 and 12, there shouldn't be much, although, the less exposed number 12 will be, a fancy, although poorly drawn. But how many horses would you suggest here, Graham, in the pick 6?
I'd go with 5 horses in the opening leg of the pick 6. Numbers 5, Take It As Red, 7, Hunger Tonga. I'd include number 9, Mighty Mary. That could be a big improver. 11, Ocotillo, who's my first choice, and I would have been a lot more confident from a better draw, but she's drawn out wide. She comes out of 3 very strong form lines behind So Hot, So What, Englefield Green, and Clainsey. And Clainsey came to win again during the course of the week. And those form lines have all been solidly frank. And then, of course, number 12, Miss William, has got to go in, even though she's drawn worst of all. Now, she ran second behind Rahaba, where Ruby Rex ran 3rd and Duchess of Paloma ran 4th. So that form line will come under scrutiny in the prior race. But the draws for 11 Ocotillo and 12 Miss William, that's not going to make it easy for them. Take It As Red, the 2-year-old in open company, but we've been waiting for it to go further. We're waiting for the awarms to be stretched out a little, and she takes on 1,400 meters for the first time and has the best draw of the fancied runners. Hunger Tonga has been around for a while, but her recent form is encouraging in that we have a situation form line where she finished marginally in front of Miss William. That form line has also been franked. So there's a bit of form to go around here. I don't think you can nail your colours to the mast. My top choice will be number 11, Ocotillo. ahead of numbers 7, Hunger Tonga, 12, Miss William, and 5, Take It As Red. But I'm not going to leave out number 9, Mighty Mary. There could be a lot of improvement to come. Obviously, there's a well-bred first-timer who does not appear to be fancied. That's number 1, Champagne Blaze, drawn in pole position. She is 9-2 in the early market exchanges, but again, Vaughan Marshall suggests she will need the experience, so we'll have to see how she goes. But we protected from the first-timers in the pick 6 rule, and so we don't really need to consider her as far as the pick 6s are concerned. I think you're pretty safe to go through with numbers 5, 7, 9, 11, and 12. 9 would obviously be a lovely result from an upset perspective. The draws are crucial here. Ocatello and Miss William both drawn out wide. That makes it trappy.
Well, Graham's given his thoughts, and he's given us a nice outsider there in number 9, Mighty Mary. So 5 runners, just to recap, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 12. Graham, if I have to pick your brain for your roving banker in that race for the quartet trifecta players, which horse would it be?
I would go with number 11, Ocatello. I think she comes out of the strongest form lines and will certainly do enough to run into the top 3 or 4 if she doesn't win.
I rubber stamped that, and yes, Clancy, as Graham mentioned, winning at Andrew Fortune last time out. That was during the course of the week. Jackpot 1, race number 5, 1405, open maiden, 1700 meters. And this is how it looks. Number 2, Jet A1 at 8-1. We then got horse number 3 trading at 11-2, number 4 at 4-1. Blinkers are on number 6. Horse number 8, Afrique at 7-1. 9 is Tunguska at 9-2. 10 is a scratch. And then number 12, Show Off, is 3-1. But for the draw, really like the look of that individual. And I'm sure Graham would be, giving him a comment here. It is a tricky draw, but the form lines have held up. And, Richard Fourie has got to know this horse pretty well. And I'm of the opinion the extra distance is going to suit him nicely. But when you look past number 12, Show Off, who I think could be the ideal roving banker in the race, it's another race, Graham, just like leg 1 of the pick 6. If you're not in the camp of a horse or you don't like something strong, then you're going to have to run for cover here with a few runners.
Yeah, I've included 4 into the opening leg of Jackpot 1, which is my bet of choice for this race meeting, and therefore would include the same 4 in the pick 6. My top choice would be number 4, Drickus. He's certainly got a very nice pedigree by Vercingetorix. He improved quite dramatically from race 1 to race 2. He started out over 1,200 meters. His next start was over 1,400 meters. Where in a pretty strong race, he ran second behind Scottish Link, so I think has got more to come. And I think the step up to 1,700 meters is going to suit number 4, Drickus, admirably. But we've got to see how he progresses, because he does come up against number 12, Show Off, as you've mentioned, who's had the benefit of 3 starts and looks promising. We'll also appreciate the step up in distance. He's out of that very good mare, Front and Center by Dynasty. It was a very, very good race mare. So bred in the purple is number 12, Show Off. Does have the wide draw to overcome, but perhaps over the 1,700 meters, not going to be too much of an obstacle to overcome. There seems to be some anti-post support around for number 9, Tunguska. Andrew Fortune is riding up a storm, and he rides here for Ricky Maingard. He's got the kind of form to be competitive, so you can't ignore the chances of number 9, Tunguska. And I'm going to include one other, which is number 2, Jetta 1. Experience in these open maidens has taught me that you ignore Des McLaughlin's runners at your peril, because he throws a spanner in the works on more than one occasion. And that's only got 55 to carry, so receiving 6 from Drickus and 5.5 from Show Off, which might bring him into the race with a chance from a decent draw. There are 2 others that are in the market that I'm not going to include. Number 3, Ario Vistas. For me, he's got to do a little bit more. The same comment applies to number 8, Afrique, who are both in single figures, but I've excluded them from my perms. So 2, Jetta 1, 4, Drickus, 9, Tunguska, and 12, Show Off. The 4 for me in this leg. Marginally, my first choice is number 4, Drickus, but it should be an interesting race.
Yeah, I'd like you to talk a bit more about Des McLaughlin when we get to race number 10 with a horse called Jet Force. And I must agree with Graham. With a limited number of horses, he certainly does well. So 2, 4, 9, and 12 are the numbers I jotted down from Graham's thoughts here in race number 5, and those are the numbers you're going to be playing around. The 6th race is another open maiden, this time for the fillies and mares over 1,700 meters. Number 2, English Mistress. She's had her chances. Could this be the right race? What she's had 12 places from 17 runs. Andrew Fortune, Candice Bass Robinson, 22 to 10. The runner I really like here is number 3, Sweet Conifer. That's a joint favorite at 22 to 10. Then we move along to horse number 7, Special Glamour, at 7 to 1. And that is it. Brinkers are on number 12, Graham, and number 13 will have the cheek pieces on. You know, I had to pull out this form line, Graham, of Sweet Conifer's last run. I know it wasn't her run because she finished towards the back end of the field when, I don't know what went wrong. For me, it was not the distance. But I'll just read out that form line to you, Graham, because I'm wowed by this horse called Gimme Everything, who we saw win first up for Dean Kannemeyer in the province. 3 in a row now, Graham. Second in that race was Blind Ambition. That is 1 run, second one again. And there have been 2 other direct winners from that form line. I understand that she was somewhere off, but that form line has held up very well. I'm actually not concerned about the distance. I just think she had an off day. For some reason or the other, it was an off day. But if she has to run a similar type of race this time around, then I'll put it down to the distance. But that's the runner that I'm rowing in with, only because of the fact that number 2, English Mistress, has had so many chances.
Well, you're entitled to think that way, Dees, but we're going to be in different camps here, and that's okay. I'm going big on number 2, English Mistress. I know she's had so many chances. I know that she's been frustrating to follow, but my goodness, this race sets up beautifully for her. Andrew Fortune, as I said, riding extremely well. Candice Bass Robinson stable going along very nicely. She's cracked the 2 draw, and while there are obvious dangers, and the fact that she hasn't yet won from 17 outings is in itself a worry, I think that this could be English Mistress's day. I have healthy respect for number 3, Sweet Conifer, as I do for number 6, Beneath the Clouds. And then the lurker in the pack for me could well be number 7, Special Glamour. She steps up from 1,400 meters to 1,700 meters. I think that's going to be very much in her favor. If you are playing it wide, then I wouldn't include the poorly drawn number 16, Lucky 13. I know that her form is limited and she's been in the maiden ranks even longer than number 2, English Mistress. But again, I remind you, this is an open maiden and they do sometimes throw up surprise results. And Lucky 13, for the services of Brevin Plykies, is carrying 49.5. So receiving 10.5 kilograms from English Mistress, plenty of weight from all of Sweet Conifer, Beneath the Clouds, and Special Glamour. So if there's going to be a boil over in this race, it could well come from number 16, Lucky 13, although she does have the worst of the draw to overcome. So yes, I respect very much the chances of Sweet Conifer. I'm sure that she's going to run a lot better than she did last time. As you mentioned, that's a very strong form line, but she was 12th of 15 for no apparent reason. Yes, it was her first run in 2 months, but that shouldn't have been a factor, really. She's drawn equally as well as number 2, English Mistress. But I'm taking my chances. I'm paying my money and takes my chances with number 2, English Mistress, for one final time, Dees.
Okay, Graham likes number 2, English Mistress. He does respect number 3, Sweet Conifer, and there's a direct form between the both of them on Gimme Everything, where, you know, number 3, Sweet Conifer, was a length and a half behind. So 22 to 10. The fixed odds betting market can't split them. Graham likes 2. I'll be in the camp of 3, but I think we're going to do the safe route here for the exotics. 2 and 3 in race number 6. Race number 7, 2,200 meters, the Hollywoodbets Durban July distance, and that is shaping up this year. As we are around the corner to the start of our champion season, lots happening at Hollywoodbets Greyville. Next time there's racing here in KZN, if you want to come and have a look at what is happening, well, please do so. And a gentleman that's very firmly part of all of this is celebrating Centurion member Devin Heffer's birthday. So we wish Devin Heffer all the best from Hollywoodbets. 2,200 meters, number 2, Heliotrope, is at 7 to 1. 3 is a scratch. 5 Wood World at 5-1. Number 6 Mfula at 2-1. Then we got number 7 To the Moon and Back at 8-1. 8 Bounce Back at 4-1. And 9 Quite a King at 3-1. Graham, I'm going to hand this over to you because this individual going for 3 in a row, one could say once he got that win, he just seems to be building on that, especially his win last time out over 2,200 meters, Graham. He made it look very easy, but taking on, obviously a stronger field as you step up in class, etc. But I don't know how much more to come from him, but I was impressed with his last win. Not impressed to say, wow, going to the divisions, etc. But just the way he won, Graham.
Yeah, he looks to be a very nice stayer in the making, and there's an old racing expression, follow your winning horse until it gets beaten, and there's lots to suggest that this could be the case for number 6, Mfula. He's on a hat-trick. I think the indication of his progress can be gauged from the fact that 3 runs back, he ran second to ahead of the Facts, and then in his last run comfortably beat ahead of the Facts by 3 lengths. So I think he's going in the right direction. I think he'll have every chance of completing the hat-trick. But as you say, as you go up in the ratings, it gets a little tougher, and this is a C Stakes race which has a bit of an open appearance. If you're taking on the favourite number 6 Mfula, then the consistent number 9 Quite a King certainly is one that has to go in, along with number 7 To the Moon and Back, and 8 Bounce Back. The filly number 2 Heliotrope, we know that these stakes races down in the Western Cape and right now here in KZN, they are framed to favour the fillies to encourage them to run. So number 2 Heliotrope is quite nicely weighted here in terms of the best weighted column, and she ran second behind Lotus Island last time out. Yes, that was in Port Elizabeth, but her Cape form is not too bad, so she also comes into the reckoning. The one that I'm sitting on the fence with is number 5 Wood World. If you go strictly on form, he beat Past and Present last time out by a length and a quarter. And in his penultimate start, Mfula beat Past and Present also by a length and a quarter. So you could argue that there's nothing to choose on that kind of form between Wood World and Mfula. But I'd like to see Wood World how he goes in his first run out the maiden start. I'm going to cover number 6 Mfula. I'm going with all of numbers 2 Heliotrope, 6 Mfula, 2 The Moon and Back, number 7, 8 Bounce Back, and number 9 Quite a King. But if you're looking to trim your budget, trim the cost of your perm, I wouldn't put you off making number 6 Mfula a banker because he does seem to improving. The comments from the yard are very positive. Richard Faree knows every inch of him. He's ridden him in every one of his starts, and he's certainly a stayer that's maturing, and as these 3-year-olds mature towards their 4-year-old careers, if they get a trip, they will continue to improve. But it is going to be tougher for him, there's no doubt about that.
Graham Hawkins, including 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 8 runners. Of course, number 3 is a scratch in race number 7. So he is playing against number 6 Mfula. And if that works out to play, you'll drop a lot of tickets there in race number 7, because I think Mfula will be a popular choice amongst race goers. The race, the top liner on the day, comes up in the 8th. Champagne Stakes, Group 3, 1,200 meters. Quality race here on this Monday, Easter Monday. Number 1, Gem King. Look at this fella. When he wins 100-1, 66-1 his last 2 wins. He can certainly turn it on when his mind's on racing. Number 1, Gem King. He's at any price. I give him a mention because he just seems to catch most punters napping, especially in the exotics. Number 4, Tenango Graham. That's the first horse in the betting at 2-1. 6 All Out for 6, the winner of the big cap and a big payday, 22-10. We saw La Pulga come out to win from that form line, and that's Vaughan Marshall's runner. Then we got horse number 10, Lion Rammount, was another one from the Vaughan Marshall stable. He looks to have a very strong hand here with numbers 6, 8 and 10. Yeah, those are the 3 runners for Vaughan. 10 Lion Rampant is at 8-1, and then it's double figures, the balance. Graham, we know what happened in that big cap, etc. It's history now, but one has to commend the horse, number 6, All Out for 6. And just the tenacity he showed to win a big race and we know it's for selected, horses of a select sale. But nevertheless, it was a big payday and a big win for him, number 6, All Out for 6. Can he follow up on that?
No, absolutely he can follow up. He does step back in trip. He does come back down the Hollywoodbets straight course, which he's only contested once before in his career. That was a long, long time ago when he was unplaced and he was learning his trade. There's no doubt that number 6, All Out for 6, is a class package. I'm wondering whether Vaughan has any designs on bringing him up to KZN after this race for a crack at the World Sports Betting Guineas on the 3rd of May, because there's not much else for him, I wouldn't have thought, during the winter period down in Cape Town. So it's going to be interesting to see how number 6, All Out for 6 goes. He might be vulnerable over 1,200 meters, and for that reason, obviously, I'm in the camp of number 4, Tenango, who's very much at home over track and trip. The last time out, he was beaten a neck, as you mentioned, by Gem King. He's now 2 kilos better off, so that should be enough to turn the tables on number 1, Gem King. But I, for one, will certainly not be ignoring the chances of number 1, Gem King again. Number 10, Lion Rampart, also ran in that race behind Gem King. He wasn't too far away. He was beaten only a length and a half. That was his first start as a gelding. So he's got every right to improve from that and must be a player here. 11, Dance Variety. His course and distance form is really good. He went wrong in his last run on the 22nd of December, Dees, and he was eased out of the race completely. So forget about that run. He's doing well at home. He's been freshened up nicely. And if returning to his best form, he must be a player here. So 4, Tenango, for me, the top choice ahead of number 6, All Out for 6, 10, Lion Rampart, and 1, Gem King. Those, for me, would be the principles, but I'm keeping one eye out open on number 11, Dance Variety. I've included him into the play as far as Jackpot 1 is concerned. I've gone with all of numbers 1, 4, 6, 10, and 11. But Tenango should be a hard horse to beat, but All Out for 6 could well have the class to do it.
Okay, that's the Champagne Stakes race number 3. We're in the final stretch now. It's the home straight, as we've come to know, when we have the last 2 races on the card. Race number 9 is a class 4 over 1,200 meters. This is where the pick 6 will close. And the betting has it like so, Graham. Exquisite number 1 is at 6-1. Number 2, Nudsberg at 8-1. Then we got number 3, Little Miss Pink at 6-1. 4 From a Distance is at 5-1. 6-1 is number 5, Dame of Tricks. Number 6, Maritzburg Memory is at 8-1. And what do we have next? Yep, we do have Oktoberfest number 8 at 9-2. And then, Des McLaughlin has 2 really nice horses at the back end of this race meeting, races 9 and 10. Here he's got number 10, She's Got Class. And she certainly showed that she shouldn't retire one-time winner, having shed the maiden very early and falling up with a very good post-maiden run, but she's going to have to lump 61.5 kgs here. It is a sprint, and this race should tell the stable a bit more about her and her ability and where to go next. But I think she's rightfully priced up, I say 9-2. 9-2 the field, Graham, tells a story. I'd like to see the quartet being caught here with the minimum spend. When I say the minimum spend, guys, all I'm saying is that we're trying to put limited number of horses, whether you got a roving banker, whether you're playing horses for first, second, third, and fourth. The Tote has a lot of options on the way you can play your exotics. And if you can get this, I would say if you can get this with below 100 Rand, Graham, you'll show a sizable profit in the quartet.
As you said, the betting tells the whole story. It's a very competitive class 4 for fillies and mares over 1,200 meters. In a 10-horse field, they're betting 9-2 the field. Most of them are quoted in single figures. My value bet for the meeting comes in this race. I'm going with number 8, Oktoberfest. I've been waiting for her to come back to 1,200 meters. I think she's better than her form suggests. She's beautifully bred. Andrew Fortune rides for the Candice Bass Robinson stable. I think she'll go well here. Is she a racing certainty? Certainly not. The betting shows that. The form of the last 3 runs have been disappointing, but I think she's got scope for improvement. So number 8, Oktoberfest, rates my value bet for the day. But you've got to have huge respect for number 10, She's Got Class. She won her maiden emphatically only in her second start, and then followed that up with a very good second behind Back at the George. Back at the George is a multiple winner. So if you're looking for roving bankers, and hoping the track bias doesn't affect their chances negatively, I would go in with numbers 8, Oktoberfest, and 10, She's Got Class as the roving bankers. 3, Little Miss Pink, always there and thereabouts. If you look at that run behind Back at the George, she was just a little way behind number 10, She's Got Class. So if you like number 10, She's Got Class, then you've got to give something of a chance to number 3, Little Miss Pink. From a distance, also, I think she's better than her form suggests. You know, I can't believe she's going to retire a one-time winner. So I think there are more wins in the tank for number 4 from a distance. 2, Noordsburg. Not easy to know what to expect of her. She hasn't raced since the 29th of November. She won an open maiden over 1,600 meters. She won it by a country mile. She has her first start back since that run, her first start in 2025. It's back over 1,200 meters. Could be too short for her, but she's certainly bred for the job. And if she comes out fresh and she comes out running with just 54 kilograms on her back, and Craig Zaki riding for Justin Snaith, I wouldn't be surprised to see Noordsburg run a very forward race here. But I'm rowing in with number 8, Oktoberfest.
Right, that is how Graham sees it. He's found a nice runner there at 9-2 that you have to include in anything. Follow this combination throughout the day. Candace Bass Robinson, who's in excellent form, and Andrew Fortune. Well, how he's going is just unbelievable. Everywhere he's riding, whichever province he travels to, he's riding so well. And that could be the combination to follow on the day. That's Easter Monday. We close things off in race number 10. Well, I was speaking about the quartet in the previous race, which was a field of 10. You'll get a good dividend. Well, let's see what this quartet pool gets to firstly, and then what the payout is going to be. It's a class 4 over 1,200 meters. And it's been some time since I've seen betting like this, Graham. The reason I say this is because, you usually have a strong favorite, and then you have horses at bigger prices that could be, 1 or 2 of them, and then the double-figure horses, especially if you got a horse in the red. But you seldom see betting like this. There's just 3 horses in single figures, and I'll give you the odds. Number 8, Jet Force at 8-1. 11, Major Master at 8-1. And then the top of the boards is number 17 at 9-2. The balance are all in double figures. A tough race to end things off. But I mentioned earlier on in the show, and I'd like you to just lend your thoughts on what you saw of that debut performance of number 8, Jet Force, for Des McLaughlin, because one could say the horse slipped under the radar if you look at the price at 33-1. But the performance, on the other hand, and go and watch that replay, racing fans, you'll see exactly what I mean. What did you think of that debut win of number 8, Jet Force, Graham?
Well, he certainly won in spectacular fashion. He was absolutely nowhere for most of the race. As you say, go watch the replay. And then he flashes up to be Tripping Thunder, going away by 3 parts of a length. They went really hard in the early stages of that race, so the pace set it up for a closer. And Jet Force was that closer on debut. He showed a lot of professionalism in getting the job done. So he's a son and master of my fate. He's out of a mare by far, so there's a lot of speed there. He could be absolutely anything, Dees, and he's drawn on the inside half of the field. The way he ran first time out, I would imagine that Mornay Vinard is going to cover him up again. The favourite here, number 17, Tough Terrain. Well, we've seen evidence of a track bias in recent meetings when the going was very much on the soft side. As I mentioned at the top of the show, the weather has been good. The track should be running a little quicker. Perhaps the draw bias will even out. Number 17, Tough Terrain, is going to need all those factors to go his way, because he's not the easiest ride. And if there is still a track bias, then it's going to make his job really, really difficult. So Tough Terrain hasn't won for 414 days. This is the most difficult race on the card, and from that draw, it's not going to be easy for him to end that drought. As you mentioned, there are a few with chances. It's a wide open contest. Street Outlaw came back to winning form last time out when beating Firing on All Engines, who reopposes here. narrowly by a short head. That was at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, but he's drawn on the plum side of the track. His penalty has been negated by Ricky Maingard putting the apprentice up, so he claims 4. So Street Outlaws only got 52.5 to shoulder. So he comes in very favourably treated with number 9 firing on all engines, who I give an undeniable chance here. He's been very, very game, very, very consistent, and another win is just around the corner. But watch out for another big effort from Street Outlaw, drawn in pole position. He'll get the run of the race with just 52 on his back. Secret Passage could be anything. We've mentioned Jet Force, firing on all engines. Probably one to certainly consider as a roving banker. I think he'll be smack right there. 11 Major Master we haven't seen since January, and he was gelded thereafter. So Major Master makes his first appearance as a gelding on all known form. He could find the 1,200 meters a little bit on the sharp side. But he's a classy individual. He showed a bit of quality, has Major Master. Quality horses, they can win over any trip, and he'll come out fresh. First run as a gelding, he'll make his presence felt. And then there's the old soldier, number 12, All About L, who probably reserves his best form for this track and trip. He was beaten by Street Outlaw, but that was at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. I fancy him a lot more down the straight here. He's won 4 of his 5 career races at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth down the lane. So I think All About L. It's not going to be easy to catch this quartet. Perhaps, you take 2, you double float Jet Force and firing on all engines, and maybe then another one with Jet Force and tough terrain, because you're going to have to play around with it. I think the principal contenders, I'll try and narrow it down for our listeners. It's not a very short list, but the race itself is a very, very challenging one. 1 Street Outlaw, 6 Secret Passage, 8 Jet Force, 9 firing on all engines, 11 Major Master, 12 All About L, and 17 Tough Terrain. I'm actually going to box all of those runners, take a percentage rather than try and find a floating banker. So those are the horses that I'm going to box in the final race, because I do think the quartet pool could get to quite a significant number, and I do think it could produce a very big dividend.
7 runners box for Graham Hawkins. Let's repeat those numbers: 1, 6, 8, 9, 11, 12, and 17. And that's the way he sees the 9th race. Well, if you're a racing fan that doesn't have time to watch racing during the course of the week, and now it's holidays, you're obviously watching this program, and you're wondering about what is Graham going on about when it comes to track bias, etc. Well, if the trend continues from the midweek race meeting, where they were moving inside, middle to inside of the track, the jockeys with their respective mounts, because the horses on the outside were not finding anything in the closing stages of the race. So he's just suggesting that maybe it's worth following those low number draws down the straight. It's not exact science. It's all about luck in running, etc. Things could change, but if it does continue from the midweek race meeting, then those low number draws is a big, big plus. It's like drawn pole position around the turn at Hollywoodbets Greyville. That's what we're saying. Okay, let's get to your bet, Graham. And you suggested that you are going for the jackpot. Which jackpot is it? Jackpot 1?
Jackpot 1 starting in race 5, first leg off at 2:05, going with numbers 2, 4, 9, and 12 in the opening leg. Then, as I said, I'm paying my money and taking my chances with number 2, English Mistress, as a banker in the second leg. If you're prepared to take this as a 50% perm, then D's, they can follow your advice and include number 3, Sweet Conifer, but I'm going to bank a number 2, English Mistress. Then all of numbers 2, 6, 7, 8, and 9. That's the race over 2,200 meters. Umfula is the one to beat. And the last leg, race 8, going pretty wide in the Champagne Stakes, with numbers 1, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10 and 11. Maybe I'm overthinking the Champagne Stakes. Maybe it's a two-horse race between Tenango and All Out for 6, but you never know. And we could be in for a surprise result, and Gem King could follow up, and perhaps Lion Rampart will improve off the first run as a gelding. So it may be more competitive than the betting suggests, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Tenango in the winner's enclosure. A smaller perm would be, you go narrow with 2 and 3 in the second leg. and then just maybe even bank him full in the third leg, and just the 2 horses Tananga and all out for 6 in the last leg. This is a jackpot. You know, it's either going to be champagne or bread, because it could pay hugely, or it could return a very modest dividend, depending on how things go, obviously.
Okay, Graham has structured his jackpot there, and you can see the banker, and it's leg number 2, horse number 2. A lot of racing fans out there of Graham Hawkins, and let's call it getting to know Graham. Easter, there's lots of goodies out there. Graham, are you a Easter egg fan, or are you a hot cross buns man?
Definitely hot cross buns, D's.
Yeah, sure.
Lots of butter, nicely toasted.
Not the fancied ones. I see they've got some with, I went to the missus the other day, chocolate this. It's just the traditional one, isn't it?
Just the traditional one. I'm a traditional kind of person. I love the traditional hot cross buns. I actually cheat and eat them all year round.
Thanks for your time, Graham. All the best.
Thanks, Dees. Go well.
Okay, for Graham Hawkins, for Gallop TV, and from myself, Dees Dine, and to you, the valued racing fan, it's Easter Monday. You want to end off this long weekend with a bang. Find all the winners, and hopefully it turns out to be a wonderful, profitable day for you if you are racing in Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gashley.